As It Were Productions and Aeroscope Pictures presents.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Lynch.
I'm Becca Howard.
And welcome to A Couple of Old Fashions, the movie show for movie lovers, by movie lovers, where we discuss a double feature that we pick each week. On that couch over there, we watch it, then we come back here. We're going to drink before and after and during, and then we're going to discuss it and see if this was, in fact, a great double feature. And I am so excited for this week.
Oh my God, you breathed.
I'm so used to being on mode.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that we actually have old fashions.
It's old fashioned week.
Oh my God,
Yay.
we did it.
The first of many clinks.
Yes.
I can't say chink anymore. Sorry. It's
Did I say ching?
Yeah, a little bit.
I got distracted. I have
You have
yellow
hair?
fluff
Ooh.
everywhere. This jumper was maybe a choice.
Yeah, it is definitely a choice.
Yeah.
Another choice is the fact that we are doing this, as you
Cozy.
can tell, during the day. We are day drinking. Why? It's Friday. Thank God it's
Friday. Oh, it's yummy.
that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much, because if you're watching this, you paid for an episode, and we truly, truly appreciate it. This is our fourth episode, our fourth week. It's been a whirlwind march getting all these shot and cut and mixed now. And it's been, honestly, it's been so much fun doing this.
Aw.
Because, oh my God, with all the shit going on right now, this is the thing I look forward to the most every week. But it also comes with getting to watch movies here, getting to talk about them. And, and also when we put this whole thing together, it's like little mini productions. So it feels like we're actually
it's a
shooting.
surprising amount of work for something that is fun, but it's enjoyable too.
But now, speaking of comments, we have a few comments. Now, we didn't get to do this last week, but now we're going to do it this week. And we have a few suggestions to, are we going to do last week's? So we're going to do Mob Mentality?
No, last week's was Growing Pains.
We
just did Mob Mentality.
That's right.
Mob Mentality was yesterday.
Which just dropped yesterday, which is available.
Today at midnight.
It's available now, right now.
Yeah. Printer didn't work, so I just scribbled these down, and I'm really sorry if I missed anyone. But okay.
All right, so comment section. Ta-da!
Well, Steve Rock said that he really liked Growing Pains, the show, which was my reference point when I hear Growing Pains. I think of Leonardo DiCaprio guest starring.
Okay, see, you're going to season 5, where I'm in the Kirk Cameron era. Here's what's funny is that show is set in Long Island. No one had a Long Island accent.
It looked like California.
Well, it was shot in California. So it's Long Island by way of California.
They look so similar.
No one has an accent, which is weird.
Good shout, Steve. I agree that when I thought of Growing Pains, I went emotional, not whatever Joe did. Laura Sloan. Oh, Laura said she liked Gas Food Lodging, which I love. Alison Anders movie from the 90s.
Ione Skye was in that, right?
Yeah, there's a wonderful quote from it as well that I'll have to paraphrase because I don't remember it exactly, but it's something like, my worst fear is to stop daydreaming. What can you do with yourself if you don't have any daydreams left? And it's like, it's true. Oh, she also liked Edge of 17, another great movie. Love that film.
Movie, yes.
Excellent fall film. Michael D. liked Chuck and Buck, which I don't know.
What? Do you not like Chuck and Buck?
What is Chuck and Buck?
It's Mike White's first movie.
Oh, wow.
Chris Weitz, the director, as the co-star. He's either Chuck or Buck. Really good movie.
Well, check it out. Thank you for the recommendation. Tony Brutz said 3 o'clock high.
Oh.
Yes.
I
know you love 3 o'clock
movie.
high. All right, end of conversation.
We're not talking about 3 o'clock high anymore? All right. Well,
no, I love 3
that
o'clock
shit.
high. Your notes are on the other side of that page.
Oh, crap.
Yes, Tony
Yeah,
Brutz also had great shout outs for Mob Mentality movies that we'll talk about next week.
Yes.
So thank you for joining for comment section. The end.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
There's probably a graphic there. But guess what? There's another graphic coming right up. It's this week's theme.
Oh, silent screams.
Or... That's it.
I need more alcohol for this.
Well, Silent Scream was the theme this week, which honestly could, again, be a theme that could go anywhere. We could do movies about, people who are mute, or we can do movies that are actually silent, or maybe a little bit of both. Who knows? So this is a movie that I've loved since 1995 and has disappeared, so to
What
speak.
did silent screams mean to you?
Oh, to me?
And how you selected this.
I originally was thinking going like silent era because it would be nice to have some older films. So I've been, trying to branch out a little bit, and I did. I branched out into the 90s. Crazy.
So silent cinema didn't work out.
Silent cinema did not work out. I wanted to go something that immediately came to mind when you said it, because it's an integral part of both the character and the narrative. And it's also a film that I love talking about because it's one of those forgotten films. People don't talk about this movie as much. Anthony Waller's 1995 unheralded classic, Mute Witness.
Strong.
Yep.
The first half especially is like almost a masterpiece. The second half is not very good.
That's why I want to talk about it.
Almost like two different movies.
What is your choice?
Well, we interpreted it in the very similar ways, it sounds like, because so you went for just a mute person who couldn't scream.
That's where I cut to a title card that says yes.
Oh, I did the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the first time, we're very aligned. Except for I did go older. I
Okay.
went with the classic noir from 1946. Kind of a horror, like an early horror, gothic noir. Kind of a gaslighty vibe. It's from RKO, the B-movie division under that point Dory Sherry, directed by Robert Siodmak, starring Dorothy McGuire and George Brent and Ethel Barrymore and Kent Smith. The Spiral Staircase.
Wow.
Oh, it's also kind of a one night only, both of our movies.
I've
they
never
both
seen
take
it.
place over the course of one night.
This is one
Kind
of
of
those.
also could apply to the first week theme as well then. But yeah, she spends the one night in a household being terrorized by men. Oh, men.
That's funny because mine is also a movie about a woman who's trapped in one space being terrorized by
Yeah,
Holy
the worst.
crap.
They are the worst.
This might be, men might be the worst, but this might be one of the best double features.
Yeah, this is
I mean,
an actual double feature that I would program at a venue without shame. Whereas normally it's like, okay, it's like this is actually peanut butter and jelly. Whereas normally it's like,
Peanut butter and pickles,
oh, that's a great combo. That's a southern sandwich.
peanut butter and shit. Well, it's divergent.
No, it's like, I don't know, a surprise like peanut butter and tuna. And you're like, okay, that could be an interesting combination or not.
Better than shit.
But I'd try it. Yeah, I wouldn't try eating shit, Joe.
You work in this industry, babe. You've eaten a lot of shit sandwiches
Yeah.
lately. Yeah. But Friday, drinks, couch, movies. I'm very excited.
Medicinal.
Now, we've both seen Mute Witness, which I'm really excited to talk about, but I've never seen Spiral Staircase, which is a movie that you've talked about a lot.
Yes.
Actually, you mentioned it when we first watched Mute Witness.
Yes, ages ago. I've been wanting you to watch this for such a long time.
A discovery for Joe. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, good.
All right.
Yay.
Well, we're going to go onto the couch
So wait,
right
would
now.
that be first? Will that be our A picture?
Which would be the A picture? Well, I guess considering that Mute Witness was probably influenced by Spiral Staircase.
One would hope.
I would say let's go historically. Let's go in chronological order. Let's do Spiral Staircase first and then Mute Witness to see the evolution of this silent scream paradigm in wildly different ways. I can already tell that the tone of yours is probably going to be a little different than the tonal roller coaster that is Mute Witness.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like that's not necessarily true. Just because it's older doesn't mean it's less engaging and terrifying.
And these aren't going to last. There's probably going to be another one very soon after, like in between the movies. I want another one of these.
Well, it is Friday.
It is Friday.
So,
All
on that note.
All right, to the couch.
Yay.
And now it's A Couple of Old Fashions with Becca and Joe. This week's episode, Silent Scream.
Oh, you want this? You want this? You want... Heart. Go get it. All right, now bring it back. Come on. Oh, you shit. Okay, well, there you go. All right, reveal.
Ta-da.
Wow, fancy. Very nice. And I am wearing my glasses because that's all I got today. I don't know why.
The worst.
You know what?
Never do it.
If more people get these episodes, I will dress up. There you go.
Wow.
There's the
incentive.
challenge.
And that's when we program cruising.
Maybe not. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
So yes, I went with a kind of old style Dorothy McGuire-ish
Very nice.
situation. Although I would wear this, I feel like.
You look great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say that, right? Yes, that's my job. I love this movie so
Old-fashioned
much.
Oh, you did?
Oh my God, I loved it. This
Yay.
was such a great. I mean, both
I'm
movies.
finally classing the joint up a bit.
You've been classing me up for a very long time. Also, I do want to mention both these movies are a little bit harder to find, but thanks to the advent of YouTube, you can actually watch both decent copies. Actually, the Spiral Staircase one is.
The Spiral Staircase, starring Dorothy McGuire, George Brent, and Ethel Barrymore. The Spiral Staircase is an absorbing, dramatic experience of such gripping conflict, artful suspense, and daring realism as to make it a screen achievement unlike anything you've ever seen.
It's a shame because the Robert Siodmak, I hope I'm pronouncing
I've
his
been
name
saying.
right.
See, you were giving me like I was.
I'm not
you were taking
sure.
shit. We were watching a lot of his movies, the noir movies that he had done.
This is kind of a noir too. This is around the time actually that RKO bankrupted itself, giving Orson Welles the longest rope he could possibly have to hang himself with on his
Magnificent
follow-up to Citizen Kane,
Oh,
The Magnificent
wow.
Ambersons. With that being said, this was a time when RKO was trying to radically mission statement themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They gave directors much shorter ropes, so if they were going to hang themselves, it wasn't going to be on RKO's dime. So they would do like extremely low budgets. People were shooting 150K
Yeah.
in
Really?
in like 40s money, which
Was
is like
this
nothing.
the Val Lewton era as well?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah, this is when Val Lewton was also part of the division, making things like Cat People and I Walk with a Zombie and Leopard Man. And so it was a time of kind of experimentation, I guess, for a lot of these creative types, like Jack Turner, like Robert Siodmak, who had basically very few resources in order to craft their
And
films.
made a lot of lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. Like took that as an advantage rather than a disadvantage. And this is one of the films that came out of that era. But yeah, you're totally right. We've watched a lot of his others. I guess The Killers is maybe Siodmak's most famous noir outside of this. One of the ones that really kick-started that subgenre.
We
But
watched Out of the Past as well, right?
that's not Siodmak.
Oh, I thought it was.
I don't think so.
Oh no, the DP did Out of the Past. Yes, I recognize his name.
Sense. But yeah, a lot of great films. I highly recommend if you're interested in this world to use his name as kind of maybe a curational shortcut to find some of the better ones, because he really had a creative eye. Even when he was given, had to be under 83 minutes to fit it into this like double feature space of time, which this is a tight 82, or it was the script is a little bit. He always found ways to kind of massively elevate the material, and I think this is by far one of the best examples. It's one of my favorite of his films for many reasons, but I'll let you, because I've thought about this movie for a long time. I was a teenager, I think, when I first started watching it, and the older I got to be as a woman, the more I got out of the movie, because Siodmak often has these sort of young heroines in his films who are massively put upon by the people around them, not just the men. Like in Phantom Lady, she's the hero girl, and that is just old ladies, men, everyone just goes out of their way to mess up her life.
100%. And I think that the device of it being this woman, now she's a caretaker, correct?
It being the time it's set in, sort of the turn of the 20th century, it actually begins with a really cool sequence where we meet our heroine for the first time in a hotel lobby space, and she's watching the magic of the movies, and it's like an early motion picture.
A D.W. Griffith movie, which is awesome because it kind of plays into the whole theme. So we got a silent movie in a silent movie.
Yes, it's a cool way to introduce us into the world regardless, because it's like, oh, okay, so we're in the early 20th century for sure, because this is when, that movie, like she's almost watching it like, oh, more people like me. And
that's something that I loved, how they introduced the silent film into this almost as a way to kind of ease you into the fact that our heroine is also almost like what's that? Purple Rose of Cairo, like where she almost steps out of a silent film.
Yes.
But now it's due to the fact that she's experienced trauma, and that's the reason why she lost her voice, correct?
Yes.
She is fantastic in this movie.
Dorothy McGuire.
Holy
I love
crap.
her. 2 other films I would highly recommend of Dorothy McGuire's filmography are The Enchanted Cottage, a very interesting kind of like early gaze movie, which I love.
Would that be a gaze?
Yeah.
That works. I like that.
Write the essay.
Yeah.
And then she also did a movie later in her career, which is one of the kind of melodramas to come out of the late 50s as parents were starting to lose their stranglehold over their kids and the teenager was being born, called A Summer Place. She's very good in that. She's very like, Mom, I'd like to fuck in that. And
wow.
Yeah, she's great. I love Dorothy McGuire. I'm very glad you enjoyed her as well.
Well, she is amazing in this movie, and one of the things, I think one of the tropes of using the mute protagonist in a way is the fact that you instant empathy, and the amount of acting that you have to do with your eyes and your face.
Her physicality.
She's got such an amazing face, and the fact that she uses it for, like, you can read every single emotion, where sometimes I think there's one actor that you mentioned too that like our good friend Brian Sauer mentioned, that who is a bit of a wet blanket.
Oh, Kent Smith. Yes.
Who's perfectly fine in the movie. He's good.
An RKO, old reliable. He's also in Cat People and does a lot of performs the same function in that, where basically in a tight 82 minutes, you always need a character that's going to tell you the protagonist's backstory. And that's how we find out about her trauma, that he tells her, I know a story about a little girl who was caught in the woods and then saw her house go into flames, which is how she got to be mute. Apparently she was witness to her house being on fire and was powerless to stop it, and lost her voice in the loss of that agency and the very real loss of her parents. And I think that's used well, like what could just be an exposition dump here is Kent Smith was always great at delivering those to make the female protagonist kind of be told their own history. Why are you just telling her what she already knows?
It's not like a conversation that we would just normally have about, like, well, let me tell you everything about your life and trauma, not realizing there's a camera right there.
Yes, it's helpful in pitting yourself against the audience, against all these men, because you're like, why are you like explaining her past to her and kind of rewriting it in your own words? Like, basically he's the original mansplainer, Kent Smith, which is useful for both exposition and like being annoying.
Would these movies be as effective if our protagonist wasn't mute, right? If she had the agency of voice? I think both films don't exploit the idea that we have a woman who's lost the agency of voice. It's only made the suspense more suspenseful. It's made the empathy for her, greater.
Well, you can project a lot of your own history, which is what I was saying with getting to be older with this movie. I got to kind of project my own self into her very easily, because she doesn't have any real, like, her loss of a voice is symbolic of her loss of agency as a protagonist.
So aside from using that device, right, the fact that she doesn't have the ability to allow dialogue or even screams. There are moments in the movie where you could tell her character wants to scream and she can't,
like strangled
in pivotal moments. And what I was very surprised by was how fucking scary this movie is.
Surprise!
No, I hate to say it, but I am still like, it's harder for me sometimes to be frightened by older films. But when you have someone like, I can't say his name right. Shad Mack. When you have someone who has that amount of command of both the camera, of the lighting, the deep.
Some of his black and white cinematography is the most colorful, high contrast black and white films.
Nikola
of this
Musharaka,
era.
who also shot Cat People. I have very rarely seen a movie that has weaponized darkness so well, because there are moments, and it's literally the camera. By the time you get 20 minutes into the movie, you can't trust anywhere in the frame, because there's
everything
going to
is
be a fucking
shadows.
eyeball. He has literally like made you terrified to trust anywhere in the frame, where you're literally looking all over the place trying to find where is this, supposed killer.
The film begins with a very excellent cold open where over the area in the hotel lobby that everyone's watching the silent movie, there's a girl staying at the hotel who's kind of disabled.
There's an imperfection.
Visible imperfection.
Which becomes a deal later on.
Yeah, becomes a plot point. And then she is killed in a cold open in the room, horrifically murdered, in one of the greatest early examples of using a killer's point of view camera angle.
Sorry, John Carpenter.
Yeah, one of the first times you ever
Sorry,
see that
Bob
in
Clark.
movies. Really just point of view was being like experimented with a lot around this time in the 40s.
But done
Dark
in
Passage is another
such-
great example of it.
Such a stylish way, where it was like, and the great trivia of the fact that the hands and the eye were the directors.
And another example of using the killer's eyeball as a literal kind of voyeuristic point, like imagery wise,
Total
to
male
drag
gaze.
you very dramatically into. It's very obviously a man that is the killer, and you're dragged kicking and screaming into his gaze. Everywhere you turn, there seems to be some guy, either if they're not trying to murder her, they're trying to manipulate her, and which is worse?
The whole movie seems to leer on her, and like down to maybe even the director. The fact that the director is the killer in certain shots, it very much feels like, pre-era Giallo.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah,
Ah,
that was
see?
the point I made while we were watching the movie.
Yep.
So, but you can claim it. It's fine.
Thank you. I'm smart.
And part of the early Giallo too for me is that there's a police officer who goes to the house and is like literally just the worst cop ever.
The guy that when
and
she
is
opens
another-
the door, he's just like, huh.
Yeah, and there's another exposition dump character where he turns up and he's like, it
Seems to me like this killer is trying to kill women that have disabilities and physical imperfections.
and she's mute. So otherwise a very beautiful girl, but like because she can't speak, it's viewed by the village as she might be the next victim. So they're all like, ooh, maybe I want to be careful. We've traced the killer back to this exact house. Maybe you should leave. And she's like, nah, like stays. And the whole rest of the movie with her in this old dark house. And the shadows very much help in that regard. I love it. Also, I love that the house is filled with these portraits.
The production design in this movie is
good.
spectacular.
And
everything, there's always something to look at.
But the way they light it, you feel like all you can see in these creepy, shadowy portraits are the whites in the people's eyes. So they're just very scary portraits, and it's like constant.
It looks like when you go to the haunted mansion and the eyes are constantly moving.
Oh my God, it's very Haunted Mansion-y. And so the whole movie, you're kind of like, oh my God, like everything is just like trying to stare, pry, eavesdrop, listen in.
For such a huge house, it becomes incredibly claustrophobic.
Yes.
And it takes for you to get to the very suspenseful and gripping
Oh,
15,
so good. I
20
love
minutes
the
of the
end.
movie where the spiral staircase actually comes into play.
Yes, literally speaking, but she's basically going up and down the house the whole movie, and the spiral staircase is another great, emblem of descent into madness or the cyclical nature of trauma and how that can influence your own life or death, as indeed this movie keeps threatening Dorothy Maguire, Helen, her character's name, with. It was written originally by this woman, Ethel White, who was the writer of The Lady Vanishes. That was another great movie you have to see at some point.
The book was called
Hitchcock.
Some Must Watch.
Ooh, I love that title. Yeah. So she was great at having kind of like women being constantly second guessed, creeped on too, but also whenever they try to voice their fears or their opinions or try to actually take some kind of agency in this out of control situation they find themselves in, they constantly get gaslit and
So you can
second-guessed
say that
and
this
undermined.
This is technically a gaslight movie in the gas lamp era.
Well, that's where gaslight comes from.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
The first film to be a gaslight
Was
movie
Gaslight.
was Gaslight with Charles Boyer and Ingrid Bergman. But cute that you tried to make a point, baby.
I try. Also, considering that this movie is very voyeuristic.
I love that I totally undermined you the way that the men do to her this whole movie. Like, good job.
Thanks.
You're trying.
I'm Helen.
Oh, look at.
That's me.
I'm George Brent.
I don't know how those motherfuckers do that.
Oh, the pencil thin
Holy
mustache.
shit. Like, the amount of time that they have to sit there and, like, at least John Waters just goes, Phoom.
George Brent is also excellently cast in this movie. He plays the patriarch of the household. And he is a doctor, scientist of some
Professor.
kind. But he was also, like Kent Smith, kind of a wet blanket type
All
of
the men
actor.
suck in this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, yeah.
Again, another common theme
But
in
not
both
in a
of our
good way.
movies. No, not the good suck.
Yeah. It's just women being constantly, like, told what to do, what not to do. I mean, there's so many lines in this movie where it's like, let me take care of this. Let me take care of you. Let me do this.
Yeah.
Don't answer the door to anybody but me. Like, she's constantly being told what to do.
Yeah.
And Ethel Barrymore plays the old matriarch of the house. Her husband died. She has two sons with her late husband. One is a stepson, George Brent, and the younger, I forget the actor, some forgettable RKO guy.
Oh, Gordon Oliver.
Whatever. What else?
I remember these things.
You have notes.
Shh.
Cheat. And both of the sons were clearly disappointed. Like, the dad told them that they were disappointments. Like, he valued strength and masculine traits, which Ethel Barrymore has, and neither of his sons. Like, she's like a hunter. She used to accompany him on hunts, whereas both of the sons were eschewed hunting
Just
and guns.
big fat douches.
And were just considered weak and meek. And one of the younger sons said at one point, the meek shall inherit the earth. And look how that's turned out for us. Clearly, they've got a lot of issues with feeling insecure. And it's those kind of, insecurities that are very literally reflected in the shadows of this house. Like, the insecurities of men and the uncertainties of men and the shadowy murkiness of their intentions that are constantly threatening Dorothy McGuire in this. Helen's job is to look after her, and she's one of the only people that Ethel Barrymore seems to be quite nice to in the whole movie. And she said at one point, no one listens to me. Why won't anyone listen to me? And I love that too, because it's like, once, like, women in general have just been kind of like put to bed, especially once they've reached
Given a lot of
beyond
brandy
menopause.
and ether, right?
Exactly.
It's a lot of ether in this movie. Holy shit.
A shocking amount of brandy and ether that they used to literally silence the old lady, which is, again, interesting that the younger woman is mute. And it's like, Kent Smith literally is like at her, why won't you talk, at one point, whereas one can't help but wonder if she was old or ugly, whether they'd care so much. Like, but she's young and beautiful, so she needs to at least have some pretty things to say. Not that they'd listen to her anyway.
Of course.
Do we need to reveal the ending?
Oh, I don't know. No, this is one where no spoiler alert. We're not going to give away
I
this shit.
will say this is my favorite Ethel Barrymore performance. And
She was nominated for an Oscar.
And I think a large reason why is the final 15 minutes. There's a shot that Ethel Barrymore is involved with in the final climactic showdown on the spiral staircase. And it takes my breath away.
That's it. Don't
every
say no
time.
more.
It's
Say no more.
so shocking.
I want to mention two things. One, I was really impressed with the camera work. I think there's an unfortunate stigma against older films, lower budget film, probably on a very tight shoestring budget and schedule. There are shot constructs and like whip pans and dolly shots that are like really beautifully done. Like, I kept thinking about Rope a lot when I was watching the movie. And just because the way that Hitchcock uses the camera in that tight space as a character, there's moments of like, there's legitimately scary moments where they're revealing where the killer is in the wings, in the foreground, off to the side, sliding down the staircase, and there's the shoes again. Like, I was really like impressed with how Siadomak Is that right?
Yeah.
Ish. How he really used the camera in very dynamic ways for the time.
Well, especially considering that people wouldn't have been that used to POV being a camera, like you mentioned, the camera being a character. I mean, that was very novel, that the camera could be the eyes of any character, let alone the killer. So once you introduce that concept, it's like, is this an objective shot, the way that all shots had been up to that point? Or is it the killer looking at her?
And
am I the killer looking at her? Am I culpable in this like whole dynamic that they're interrogating? And that's, to an audience in the 1940s, that would have been an extremely new way to have had the camera be a part of that like
very
language.
Subjective character.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
The movie.
And on that note, my last thing that I do want to shout out is that dream turned nightmare sequence that she has when Kent Smith is like, I have to go now. And this is the last time you see him as well. He's like, don't answer the door to anybody but me. Anyway, we should get married. I don't care what you...
He sucks.
He has like a whole argument with George Brent where he's like, I'm taking her away. I'm taking responsibility for her. And it's
He like gets up in the other guy's face too. He's like, I need to speak to you.
And none of the men at any point is like, have you asked her? And he doesn't really ever ask her. At one point, he's just like, we're doing this. See you later.
Yep.
Bye, lady.
Catch you when I catch you.
Exactly.
Put a ring on that finger.
And you could read her passivity in the lack of voice or in her own fear of the world. But one part that really actually makes her point of view a little bit more obvious is after he tells her they're going to get married and he's going to fix her, because apparently she needs to be fixed. But the part that I really like is that when she first starts fantasizing about them being together, it's a dream sequence where it's almost like that part in Shape of Water with the other, like the Sally Hawkins, who's another mute heroine, first fantasizes about being together. It's in this beautiful dance sequence, and like it's
deliberately crafted like an older film.
And physically expressed love is them dancing together, which is a very sweet moment. But then the dream takes a turn where she's in this shadowy, almost like 1910s, 1920s, like German expressionist in the house where they're getting married. And he says, and the preacher says all the worst parts of the getting married monologue, where he's like, will you obey him, serve him, like, look after him? I don't know what, like, to have and to hold forever till death. And
be his servant.
She starts to look increasingly nervous while they have all these intense shots of everyone in the household staring at her at slanted Dutch angles. So scary. And the pressure is just getting worse. And she's like trying to say, and the guy's like, say I do. Say I do. Say I do. And she's like, like can't find her voice. And in that moment, it's really exciting for me, like getting to understand her, because it's not necessarily that her lack of a voice is about her lack of agency, but it's also like, can she even give herself to a man who's going to be her husband if he's going to be someone to serve? Once again, she's constantly being put in this docile servant position. Is a man protection, or is he a slave owner? And it's her inability to speak those words is somewhat reflective of her like fear to participate in the world around her, but it's also reflective of her somewhat justifiable reluctance to be a part of the world if it's only versions of women that she can be. The characters that she can play are caretaker, mother, wife.
Fitting into that subservient archetype.
Constantly,
And silent.
And she's like, maybe if I excuse myself from this narrative by not speaking, maybe I won't be asked to perform that. She has to scream for help at multiple points in order to literally save her life, and she can never do it.
You know it's coming, too.
She finally does scream. It's not actually for help. It's like as a...
Do you want to give it away?
No, it's just, I won't say why or who the killer is.
All right.
But it's, her final scream is sort of a full circle witness moment.
A mute witness moment?
Exactly, which can lead us into our B movie. And what I loved, the whole movie is about like the themes of voice and mouth and seeing and eyes and all these kind of viscerally, sensory type of motifs. And then at the very end, I always thought it was really awkward that she answers the phone to finally talk to that Kent Smith doctor guy. He's like, who is this? And she says, it is I, Helen. I always thought, like, why wouldn't she just say, it's me, Helen? Like, that's such a weird way of saying it.
It was like the maybe the writer's way or the director's way of trying to be like, she's reborn, her voice is back again, but she's in like a crude, rudimentary, like docile state, you know?
Or is it them finally merging the two themes of voice and sight with her saying, it is I, Helen? I don't know, maybe. There's someone there.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know.
Good observation. I like that.
It is I. Her voice is finally saying the word I. I don't know.
I buy it.
There's no
I
accident.
buy it. Tight, less than 90-minute running time. This movie, honestly, this is one of the two. No, I would say I'd recommend both, but this one you got to see from beginning to end.
Wonderful.
It's fantastic. So, shall we?
Yes.
To Mute Witness. All right, we're back, and Mute Witness. Anthony Waller's 1995 horror thriller, somewhat comedy, a movie that, like I said before, came out right in the thick of the indie boom. And I remember going to the Angelica Film Center to see the movie.
Aww.
I know, back in the
Cool.
day.
Yeah.
And I was the only person in the
jealous.
theater. It had the best movie poster, as you probably saw in our little graphic right here with the sewn up mouth. And it was always stuck in the back of my head, and I've always loved it. And, you know, again, like we've said before, it's really hard to find, but it's just one of those movies that was a bit of a back pocket film where you'd go, hey, have you seen Mute Witness? And somebody would say,
No.
guess what? I'm going to show it to you right now.
And unpredictable.
It's not over yet.
Yes,
And then they would be
we
blown
rented
away.
it from, as it was very hard to find a couple years ago, we rented it from our favorite video store in LA, but there are many really good ones. But
Yes.
at the time, our favorite cinephile, right by the New Art, if you are in the LA area, have a lot of great movies. We got it on like a DVD because there really wasn't any way to watch it in a good restored way.
I would
at the
rent
time.
the shit out of this movie on VHS when I used to work at my old video store, and every single time people would come back going, why didn't I hear about this movie? The setup is there is an American production that is being shot in Russia, and there happens to be, you have an American director, the script supervisor, who happens to be the director's girlfriend, and the script supervisor's sister is the makeup effects artist, and they're making a slasher film, which you get to see in a weirdly put together production for a movie that opens like this. You get to see the opening in a very De Palma-esque sort of way.
Yeah, the opening is the film within a film that they're shooting in Russia. So it's another, I mean, it literally starts with the killer within the film within a film, his POV shot, so it's another great way you're plummeted right into the killer's eyes. Again, makes it an excellent kind of going from Spiral Staircase into Mute Witness.
Yeah.
It's like, oh great, we're continuing on with this intense
The theme is there.
voyeurism.
The theme is there.
Especially the first time I saw it is Joe didn't tell me anything, which is perfect. Try to go and watch, don't listen to this, watch it first.
Wait, hold on.
Spoiler alert.
Now spoiler alert is gone. Now
Go watch it and then listen to this convo, hope if you want. But like, it's very cool because the way that the 40s film would have undermined audiences' sense of safety by using the POV shot of the killer to make them feel nervous and insecure about who is watching what and what camera is telling whose point of view. by the 90s, that was a trope. Like De Palma and people had used it, and like the whole slasher game had kind of overly used it. It was a cliche by this point. So the movie starts with this kind of cliche, and you're like, oh yeah, cliche, whatever. But what's great is that they find a way to undermine you regardless, because they slowly pan over all these close-up of the male crew members' eyes, and for a second you're like,
in a pivotal moment too, because the girl gets stabbed and she's dying, like, oh
yeah,
and then you're just watching all these dudes.
It's done through all these tight shots, so you're just kind of like, who is watching this girl just being murdered in her apartment? And then slowly you're like, oh my God, they're crew members on a film set. So it's an excellent way in a meta 90s verse to undermine everything you thought you knew about voyeurism and being like, okay, yes, we're all perverts here. Ooh. In a way that
It's not how my pervert sounds.
And
It sounds like this. Hi, what are we doing?
my pervert's fully this guy.
Yeah. Jesus, that's creepy.
Oh yeah.
What was the thrust? That was even
Me
worse.
settling into my seat on
my God.
42nd Street.
Well, once the film,
Sticky shoes. Anyway, that's what I love about the opening of this film, is that the way they introduce voyeurism and everyone watching it, and you suddenly realizing that that's what's happening, is like a nice throwback to everything that's been done before but changed slightly, so that you get that 40s audience shock of like, oh, I am the voyeur.
and usually in movies like that have the movie within a movie, you usually can tell very, very quickly, oh, this is a movie, because it's like a little more arch or it's a little bigger. There's legitimately good scares in that opening. There's like 3 or 4 shots of Becca's like, roll that back. Holy shit, the killer's right there.
They have a reveal of the killer for, like, in the
creepy.
corner shadows. And it's, again, like throwback to Sioma.
And this was
it
Anthony
really was
Waller
a
going,
great
we're
double
making
feature.
a bad movie. You
Yeah.
know?
It's not. It's actually, I would watch that.
I would have watched that movie. After they've revealed that there's a film within a film, it's a normal day on a very low budget film being shot by some American crew members, including the director and the script supervisor and the mute makeup effects artist. And then they get shut down because it's the end of the day and everyone goes home. But unfortunately, Billy, our protagonist, goes upstairs to fix a couple things for the next day. There's supposed to be a really huge kill that's going to happen. And because she's mute, no one can hear her as she's trying to tell them when they lock up that they left her inside. So now she's stuck inside the warehouse all alone, or so she thinks. And that's when she finds out that the set's also being used by some of the crew members to make a snuff film. And then she watches, she witnesses.
She thinks it's a porno.
At first she thinks it's a porno.
So she's just like, I'm not going to tell on these guys.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make a buck.
Don't want to get in the way of the money shot.
Make a buck because they like to fuck.
Yeah.
And then,
like Buck and Chuck.
Exactly. Leading it all back to you, Michael D.
Yeah. But then a real knife comes out. And
not just a penis,
in a motif that happens throughout the movie, it then cuts to the person looking at the barrel of the camera, and then it cuts to an optically printed shot, and then an optically printed shot as they go. And I'm going to do that in this. It's going to be fucking cool.
So she accidentally knocks over a stand, manages to catch it, but then a little bit of makeup or something falls out of the bag on the stand, and it just goes. So it's not a loud bang, but it's just like a.
But it's enough.
And the guy's like.
Yep. And then after that, it's one of the best there is an art to the near miss.
The guy's not chasing after her. He's he's not sure there's someone there.
For a little while.
He thinks he's like for that 30-minute sequence, which is part of what makes all those near misses you were talking about so scary, because he's not chasing.
There are certain shots in the movie where there are these beautiful, and it's shot beautifully in widescreen, where every single inch of the widescreen frame is used. And there are moments where she'll come out into the foreground and then go down a hallway. And this must have taken 10 fucking takes to get this right. And as she's just going around the corner, the guy comes in. The timing is impeccable.
Yeah.
And you can't, I've seen the movie so many times, and I'm still, every time I watch it, I go, oh God, here it comes.
I feel like I've only ever seen a visual version of a cat and mouse done that well in like an animation, like a Looney Tunes cartoon almost.
And it happens so many times, but it's every time is so effective. It's all these like still shots of her running through, like almost, again, very voyeuristic, almost like security camera shots. And what's great about those is that it immediately gives you a sense of space. You know the geography. I think that 45 minutes of film is one of the best thrillers of the 90s. So impeccably crafted. And it's got a very weird tone because while she's running away from the Russian snuff filmmakers, we keep cutting back to her sister and her boyfriend who are back at the hotel wondering where's Billy, while he's making some fucking chili con carne or something like that. Terribly. I'm going to just...
It's bizarre. That's when the movie started to lose me, is when they start cross-cutting to the
comedy
sister
act.
and the brother. And like, we're just stupid Americans in Russia.
It's almost like it's
that's
almost
a different
like two
movie.
different movies.
Yeah, because I love Billy. Like, I really am... Like, she's so... Because honestly, there are so many moments when Billy's being a badass, like, saving herself from these... Like, really, truly saving herself. Like, there... A lot of I think the point of the spiral staircase is that she needs to save herself.
Yeah.
And all these men are like, let me save you.
And Billy
but
does.
Billy literally is like, she's a true 90s heroine.
And the fact that she's got the skill set.
She doesn't expect anyone to come save her. She's like,
She's
I
gonna
need
do
to
it.
get myself out of this.
She's stuck in that situation, and the only way that she knows how to do it is to use all of her skill set of being a makeup effects artist in so many cool, creative ways.
And as they start cross-cutting to the sister and brother-in-law, it starts taking
it's a
away
different
from
tone.
that strength.
It's a completely different tone because they're in like a buddy comedy in a way where they're the brother who's the director. I will say this: worst director in a movie ever. He
Such
is,
a little brat.
When you watch,
my father will hear about this.
well, it's not
Sorry,
even
he's
that.
American. My dad will hear about this.
It's the opening of the movie when they show the film within a film, and there's the moment when the girl is stabbed and she's dying very, very dramatically, and you're sitting there going, who the fuck shoots this shit? She's tearing the whole fucking set apart.
Getting
and he's
no
not calling
direction.
cut. He's in the background bitching and moaning. He's part of the reason why she gets
Which
stuck in there.
I love, to be honest.
Sure.
I like that because the sister is somewhat, like, she saves him
She's
a bunch
great.
of times.
Yeah, she saves him all the time.
Yeah,
But
and he's
again,
like...
every man in the movie is
Incompetent.
Is incompetent.
I do like that they bring it back to the similar themes that Spiral Staircase has, is that she finally gets out and finds her sister, brother-in-law.
She's able to communicate enough to her sister and brother.
Yeah, that she's
for them to
in
show up
peril
with the cops.
And so they all start to assume that she's just a hysterical female.
Yep.
And they start undermining her and gaslighting her. So I do
and they use
like
her. They
that.
use her skill set against her because they're like,
Yes.
"Oh no, it's just fake blood. Oh, it's fake knife."
Yeah.
And then everyone's going, "Well, then where are the bodies? Where's this body that you supposedly killed? Where's the footage?" And they completely gaslight her. The reason why this movie got made was because Alec Guinness is in this movie. Now you're going, Alec Guinness, he died years before this movie got made. Anthony Waller actually met Alec Guinness back in the 80s, knew he was going to make Mute Witness. He wrote it, and asked Alec Guinness if he would be in the movie. Alec Guinness said, "Sure, young boy, I will do
better.
that." Not better. Not bad. He agreed to play this part of the Reaper? Like this,
I don't know. I really
the
start
shadowy
to check
KGB
out.
character. He was the shadowy KGB character that kind of looms over the whole film. He's the guy that's selling all the snuff films. So he's got a crew that works for him.
Who wants some mysterious diskette
Yeah,
the whole time.
There's always a MacGuffin, and it's a diskette because it's the 90s. All of his shots are in a single shot in the back of the car.
And not quite relevant to the entire, like, the pacing suddenly just like grounds to a halt.
Because it's technically the guy that got the money for the movie.
No, I know, but that's like, I think you can, even if you don't know exactly what's going on, you're kind of like, this is very weird.
But I think one of the smart things that Anthony did was that he built up this kind of Kaiser Soze character with like the Reaper, got to watch out for the Reaper. He's a man. If he sees you, you're dead. You know, like he built up this character to be a formidable force, and then it's
Force.
Hey, I mean, I meant that. That's exactly what I meant. To get that stuff 10 years before he made the movie, that's fucking cool. That's cool. I major props for that. But that said, I think that the first half of the movie is fantastic. The second half, when it turns into a spy thriller, doesn't work as well, except for the bath scene.
She can't trust anyone because everyone is letting her down.
Because she has to use other people
Yeah.
to be like when she uses her sister, or she's trying to tell the director or whatever, like, speak for me, and no one else. And the language barrier that you have between the Russian guys who no one can really speak like the Americans or the protagonists, they never subtitle them, right? So we are, as an audience member, at least Western audiences, we are very much in the dark of what they're saying,
which I
as
love.
they are.
I love that she's a total fish out of water, kind of isolated from every single. Like, I almost wish her sister wasn't even in it, because it's like then she would be totally alone. But I do like that so even when the one guy who does come through for her, there is one man character, one. Is he a cop or like a detective?
KGB
man.
Yeah.
They don't
the one
ever.
Male figure.
Yeah, the one male figure who's actually like not a total schmuck in any kind of a way. She can't figure out whether or not she can trust him. She trusts herself, which I love. She doesn't lose faith in herself at any point, but she loses faith in literally everything around her. Like that's one of my things that I do enjoy about the second half. She doesn't ever have like start to buy into the gaslighting, which is normally a part of that whole, like they start to think, what if I am crazy?
Her conviction is true.
At no point does she ever let herself fully relax, because she's like, no, I know what I saw.
Well, when she's in the bath and she, it's one of the rare moments where they use. That's right, when she comes in.
I thought that's what you were. That's why I did.
Oh, that was good.
When it's a choice between potentially trusting a guy she doesn't know but who does save her, or just like handcuffing him to a wheel and trusting herself and making sure that she's the only person that she has on her side, she decides to do that, which I don't know if I would have enough gumption and self-belief to be like, this one man who seems to be okay, but I'm not sure. But
trusts him enough to, spoiler alert, get him to like help her in the big ruse at the end of the movie.
Oh, but by that point he's established himself. That's his true. Trustworthiness. At the beginning, she doesn't quite know. She's like, "Bye, I'ma find out the rest of this. Sort the rest of this out by myself." That I do like. I do think that's kind of unusual in these sorts of films. The women usually start to lose faith in their own abilities and strength and. Strength of witness, she really does. She never in the same, like, her muteness is never a problem to be overcome in the way that it is in Spiral Staircase. That's just who she is, and it's not something that she needs to figure out. Like that, you're never expecting her at any point to like scream. Like that's not. Part of her character. She never has that moment. She doesn't need to. Yeah. So like that, I do love all of that in comparison to Spiral Staircase. She's constantly like stressed about her own abilities and trying to overcome this impediment of being unable to talk. Whereas you never feel that way about Billy, because her inability to talk doesn't mean she doesn't have a voice. Yeah. And she ends up using her skills to really be that scream at the end, right? I think that's the thing that I got out of it, watching the two films together, where Helen had that moment where her voice comes out, where in here Billy's skill set and how she kind of creates this amazing ruse, which a little bit suspect in terms of how long it would take to deal with squibs and all that shit. But by that point, look, if you've watched this movie and you see the opening scene where you go like, how the fuck did they get all this coverage and they're cutting this all together for that? I'll buy it. Whatever, I'll buy it. There aren't that many like actual filmmakers watching it being like, how did they get those squibs on in time? Yep. Me. Now, before we wrap this up, I will want to just mention that I came very close to remaking this movie. I really wanted to. Our big thing for that was to take the entire film and keep it in that studio. That's what we were looking for, and that's really what I wanted to do. You know, that was my big twist, and keep all the KGB stuff out as much. Set it in Serbia. You can kind of set it anywhere, but that was really what we wanted to do. And you know, who knows what'll happen with it. But I do think that this is one of those movies that you can still have in your back pocket and impress your friends with that movie that you go, have you seen Mute Witness? And they go, now twice. Well, no, you're supposed to say no. But I thought that was like, because you already did that shtick, I thought that was like a full circle shtick moment where I would say, no, but now, yes, twice. Thank you. And you got to show me Spiral Staircase, which was fantastic. I think, I'm going to just lay it down now, this may be our best double feature pairing yet. Yeah, this is the only time where our interpretation of the theme was exactly the same. So, but we still took two films that complemented each other. I mean, half a century apart, these films were made. And I really I would love to see both of these on the big screen together.
This would be a great double feature at the New Beverly.
Yeah, I
sure.
loved all of that. I'm a big fan of the way that we both interpreted the theme. I certainly think that it's ripe for a retelling of some kind.
I miss remakes where people
stock.
would say inspired by these earlier movies.
Oh, well, but
I don't think people do that as much anymore.
I remember like my early film education being watching Martin Scorsese commentaries. It was like a note when I was a kid with like a little note, my glasses and a little notebook and pen and just writing down. Like, because Scorsese would be like,
well, of course, to do this scene, I definitely had to show the cinematographer Red River, and I had to show him, like, you know, like a face in the crowd. And
I was like, oh, like writing it down as fast as I could keep up with his like cocaine voice. And it was like, great. I feel like you can take little pockets of films that you love all the time as inspiration.
Mush them together into your own little
yeah,
thing.
Exactly.
Because you're taking it and putting it through your filter.
Exactly.
And look at suitable flesh.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a beautiful thing about these double features and reintroducing these movies to each other in general is that we get to see them through other people's eyes, how they influence each other. Like, I feel like I watched Mute Witness an entirely different way the second time because I was a bit older and I watched it in conjunction with The Spiral Staircase, and that kind of influenced my
and been on a movie set and stuff like that.
So, like, I think you're constantly evolving with your relationships to movies and how those influence the stories you want to tell. So I feel like people still do, and it's always going to be a great question at a Q&A. What movies influenced you in the telling of the story? And
I love it.
It's nothing to be it's nothing to be like you didn't steal.
No,
you just
were influenced by.
Yeah, of course. Like, why else are you even here making movies?
Yeah.
If you don't like watching movies.
I know. I can say for a fact that if you've gotten to the end of this video, you love
like
movies,
watching movies
just like we do. And I think this was a fantastic pairing. One of our best. Now let's talk about next week's theme.
Yeah, your choice.
All right. Well, are you ready? This is going to be technically one of our last episodes in this block. We'll see what happens with the show after, but we wanted to kind of leave it on a, like a fun note. I think I'm going to go with Two for the Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
This almost goes back to our cocktail theme. Just like taking one for the road.
Yep. Because there's a bunch of ways that you can interpret that. I love how each week we've been interpreting these themes in a different, unique sort of way. Sometimes they come and you get My Blue Heaven and Day of the Dead. And sometimes you come in together with Silent Scream and you get Mute Witness and Spiral Staircase. So I'm really excited to see where we're going to take this one. I think I already know what mine's going to be, but I'm going to let it gestate.
Idea.
I'm going to let it simmer. Let it percolate a little bit. Just let it just like flow through me so that by next week when we're ready to do it, I'll be ready to fucking rock your world with some high octane thrills. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
And I'll do a better job of getting your comments down next time. Sorry about that if I missed any ones. But I do love your comments.
Yes.
I might
Thank
ask
you for doing
Adam if I can log in to the Movie Crypt account. Because I know you said it was okay, but I'll just double check that I can start replying to some of your comments as Movie Crypt, but as Rebecca, because it's been really cool reading them. I always read them, but I haven't been able to respond because I'm not on the Movie Crypt admin.
Or maybe you've just been muted.
Yeah. Oh my God. I need to get on the Movie Crypt admin and find a voice to be able to interact with you guys.
Oh boy. Well, again, thank you guys so much for watching this episode, for watching the previous episodes, for supporting us. It really means the world. And I love the fact that you guys have given us another great excuse to sit there and watch movies and discuss them together. I love it, and drink some booze. And where the fuck is Rocco? What are you doing over there? Come here. I'm bringing him over.
Oh, jeez.
You gotta be.
Almost made it.
He's gotta be part of it. Oh my God, this beast.
Yeah, he had a lot of snacks.
Oh, there he is. Oh, hello. All right.
Thank God it's fur day. Oh, little furry baby.
Well, again, thank you very much, guys, for being part of A Couple of Old Fashions with Becca, Joe, and Rocco. Thank you for watching this. I hope you guys get some really good nutritional value and maybe some good recommendations about, what movies to watch tonight or tomorrow or whenever. And we'll see you next week. Do you have your
yes. Movies. They're the only marathon worth participating in, and they're what? Rude.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight.
We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.